Well, I don't know about all of you, but for me, long gone are the days of welcoming in the new year by staying up until midnight. Just don't do it anymore. This year, like those in the past, John and I were long sound asleep when the ball dropped at midnight. I just don't have the same energy or excitement for the new year that I used to have. I used to think, a new year, what a great thing, right? Now, I really don't like the self-examination that the new year requires, Now, I always have the best of intentions. Man, I've got the best intentions. Every year I vow to get in touch with my inner being and to become a better person, right? Something I've always wanted to aspire to do is to become an excellent journaler, right? Every day writing some brilliant thought. I actually have an entire bookshelf full of blank journals. I mean, I see a pretty one on Amazon and I want to buy it. So I buy it, that one click of Amazon. They're all just sitting there waiting for me to fill the pages with brilliant insights on my life and the world in general. This year I started writing in yet another one, but guess what? I didn't do it yesterday. So there you have it. But I continue to have high hopes. I've pretty much given up on the tradition of making New Year's resolutions. How many of you make New Year's resolutions? Yeah, okay. They are just too easy to break. So in preparing for this sermon, I Googled and I found a list of the top 10 New Year's resolutions. Let's see how many of these resonate with you. Okay? Spend more time with family and friends. Well, that's a good one for all of us, right? We could all do that. Fitness. Let's all hit the gym.
It's crowded. Let's do it.
They are very crowded. The gyms I used to go to the gym, very crowded right at the first of the year. All the new gym memberships. Tame the bulge and lose weight. Now, this has only been my resolution for 50 years. Quit smoking. Now, I don't smoke. I've never smoked. But did you know that on average, smokers try 4 times before they quit for good? Yep. Enjoy life more. Well, that's hardly a resolution. I mean, we all want to do that, right? I'm up for it. Quit drinking. Now, I did that 28 years ago, so this isn't a problem for me right now, but it's a very common one. Have you heard of dry January?
Yeah.
Right? Don't drink during January. Get out of debt. That's a good one. This requires planning and self-discipline. Learn something new. French lessons, anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get together.
Aurora too.
Help others. This is a good idea for all of us, but it does require that we think of someone instead of ourselves. And number 10, get organized. If you ever walked into my house, you would know this would be a good one for me. Now, did you notice that these 10 resolutions have nothing to do with spiritual improvement? God isn't included. Is that how we look at it? Why aren't God or Christ part of the picture of our lives? It gets left out. It doesn't make any sense because God is involved in everything. Our marriages, our families, children, our work, our play, and our pleasure. So today I would like to explore looking at the new year through a spiritual lens. How can we make the new year better and more fulfilling? I think there are 3 good pieces of wisdom for all of us. If we follow them, our lives should go better and more happily. They are: be careful, be thoughtful, and be thankful. And once again, be careful. We need to be careful in living. Be careful. Be wise. Be careful with your time, which is actually God's time. Be wise. Seek God's will in all things, in every day and every way. Hurry, worry, multitasking, and stress. Sound familiar? I was noticing this morning as John was helping me load up the car to get here this morning, John does one thing at a time.
Go, John.
Okay? I remember a number of years ago when we were going to my dad's for supper, and I was providing green bean casserole for the supper, right? So I said, honey, could you put the groceries in the car? So here he goes. 2 cans of green beans. Out to the car. Back in. Cream of mushroom soup. Out to the car. Well, and then of course the French fried onions ended up out there as well. The 4 horsemen of the accident prone are hurry, worry, multitasking, and stress. The more we focus on stressful things, the less we pay attention to what we're doing, right? The same is true in the spiritual realm. We need to properly focus on life, or we will suffer for it. Let's be honest. We are all usually very worldly focused when we need to be more spiritually focused. Colossians 3, verses 1 through 4 tells us what we should focus on. We should let go of past mistakes and embrace the new things that God is doing in our lives. We're called to embrace renewal and transformation. God is calling us to spiritual growth. So you're probably asking yourself, Jeanne, aren't you paying attention? Everything is in a real mess right now. How can we keep hoping? Especially after what happened yesterday morning, right? How can we keep hoping? Trust me, I'm staying informed, and yes, the situation is dire. The worldwide global economic crisis has cost trillions in lost wealth. People who just a year ago had reasonable prospects for the future have had a lifetime of hard work wiped out through the stock market and losing their jobs. And with lost livelihood comes rising uncertainty. Peggy Noonan is a Wall Street Journal columnist, and she wrote a column about this. She called it, "There's no pill for this kind of depression." It is something so much deeper going on. There's a pervasive sense of anxiety, as though everyone feels they are on thin ice. Did you know there's been a great increase in the use of antidepressants since 9/11? I read that and I wasn't really surprised. And there are other signs of this anxiety as well. Gun sales are up. People are amassing cash and gold. People are growing their own food. I know John loves his tomato plants. In certain areas of the country, church attendance is up. People have lost faith in their government. I know that is true for me a lot of the time. We feel that we've been lied to, and there's a pervasive sense of cynicism that crosses party lines. One psychiatrist put it this way: people feel overwhelmed. They feel the situation is unsalvageable. There is a pandemic of fear. The moment we are living in is a strange one, a disquieting one. It's a time that seems full of endings. There is indeed no pill for that. I believe that this is what they call a hinge moment of history. God is suddenly rearranging all the pieces on the chessboard. It's been described as being between two trapezes, having let go of the old, reaching for the new, not knowing if there's a net underneath while we hang there in space. We don't have to have a crystal ball to predict the future in 6 weeks, 8 months, or 5 years. The truth is, the future belongs to God. And we can't predict what the stock market will do when it opens tomorrow or when the next war has broken out, which apparently it has. Then how shall we live? There are unpredictable things, but the good news is that there are great opportunities for us as children of God. So shall we be optimists or pessimists? Today's text from Isaiah gives us great hope. It says, "Do not remember the former things or consider the things of old. I'm about to do a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." This tells us that God is always moving in the world. Our job is to participate in that movement. How can we do that? First, we should watch our step. Keep your eyes open so you don't take the wrong step. Sometimes we live too fast and make too many snap judgments. We make hasty decisions. We speak before we think. I know I do. We move too fast and react too fast. We keep pressing down on the gas pedal of life, moving ahead, and we tend to build high before we build deep. We need to remember the words of Psalm 46. Be still and know that I am God. When we slow down enough to get God involved, we discover that God can do more through us than we can ever accomplish on our own. We also need to redeem our time. We're told in Ephesians 5 that we should make the most of every opportunity. We're called to redeem our time, to buy it back. What are our opportunities? Right now has great urgency. These are desperate times. Sometimes we are tempted to despair. I know I spend a lot of time in that place. We often give up and say, we can't do it. The days seem dark and hearts have grown cold. Maybe there's nothing to be done. But actually this year I have made a New Year's resolution. I refuse to think like that. These days of moral corruption offer us special opportunities to do great things. Hard times are blessings in disguise. I once did a sermon series on a great book called The Gift of Hard Things. I highly recommend this book. Its premise is that doing hard things helps us build strength of character. When the world has gone haywire, that is when God's light shines the brightest. When we flex our spiritual muscles, we make them stronger. And we are called on to do God's will. So how do we do this when the nation and the world is sick? Trouble is in the land. Confusion is all around. I know it's hard to remember, but only when the sky is darkest can we see the stars. Only when the sky is darkest can we see the stars. I don't know what will happen now. These are difficult days ahead. but today has a fierce urgency. We should be grateful to be alive during these days. Remember that God's plans are for good and not evil, and to give us hope. That's our lesson for Jeremiah today. The plans are for good and not evil, and to give us hope. As Christians, we are called to be optimistic. We know that Christ has conquered the world. These are exciting days, amazing days. Remember what Jesus said in John 14, let not your hearts be troubled. You know, there have always been days like these. Imagine what it must have been like to have been alive during World War II, when everything just went crazy. There have always been these days. Be encouraged. Watch your step. Redeem the time. Seek to do God's will every day. These are great New Year's resolutions. Do not despair. Amen.